Hello, this is Lee Ingen doing the narration for these photos. My wife Mariah and I went to Arizona in February of 2022. 100 photos taken there are included in this video. This is the first set of photos we intend to share. The number of photos was limited so those viewing would be less likely to fall asleep. The first photo here is of Superstition Mountains. We never did learn how the dirt became superstitious, but I'm sure there's a good story there somewhere. This next photo is a close-up of the same mountain range, and the photo afterwards is an even closer shot. Here is a photo of one of the most noticeable plants in Arizona, the saguaro cactus. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Like many of the words in the English language, the letters and sounds of the words don't really match. A 10-year-old plant might be only an inch and a half tall. Most of the roots are only 4 to 6 inches deep to gather water when it rains, and the roots radiate out as far from the plant as it is tall. This one is nearly 4 Mariahs tall, and it could easily be over 100 years old. A surprising number of attractions we went to visit in Arizona were closed. While leaving one of the closed museums we tried to visit, we stumbled across an old ghost town that had thrived in the 1890s as a mining town. This ended up being one of the most interesting places we visited in our entire trip. One of the first residents we came across was fairly typical of the town folk. She was friendly enough, but you could tell she was strong as steel, and just from her demeanor you could tell she was iron-willed. As tough as she appeared, the sun still took its toll on her skin, but of course we never said anything so as to not be rude. Much of the town looks like the perfect set for a classic cowboy western movie. These water tanks are an example. Notice there are 2 tanks. I guess one is for the second-story level buildings or for higher water pressure, and the lower tank and pressure was for the rest of the town. Seems like a pretty smart design. Check out the barrels in this photo. I wonder how long a barrel has to sit on out-of-level ground, full of water, to take that shape. I'm not positive, but I think this is a king-size kerosene lamp for lighting up a big room or as a street light. This old ghost town is now a tourist trap, so it was hard sometimes to get photos without something like Christmas lights in the picture. I took this one because I thought it was amazing how well the wood holds up without paint or preservative in an area where it hardly ever rains. The corbels, which are the L-shaped supports for looks under the roof, are in good condition despite being exposed. The wood behind the corbel at the corner of the building has some rot due to being at the building corner and getting more wet more often, but the next corbel in from the end has a board behind it that looks great. I took this photo because of my interest in structural issues. The through bolts with washers hold these severely dried and cracked boards together just fine, whereas lag screws or nails would have failed a long time ago. It was great to see the carpentry and blacksmith skills evident in the construction. The sloped windowsills and simple but still pretty ironwork shows real skill by the craftsmen that did the work. There is a lot to say about the construction in this photo. The iron railing has each individual vertical member custom cut to the slope at the end of the deck. The more expensive block is used only at the face of the building without any real attempt to hide that fact. The side shows the true reason behind stucco over brick. The stucco is a temporary siding, if you will, over the more expensive brick. The stucco is sacrificial, and it's supposed to be recoated as it breaks down and falls away. You can see this did not happen where the brick is now exposed. The sign must not be original, since you can't even see it from near the front of the building. Someone just put it up behind the front walls over the roof because it was easier. It's interesting to see how much you can see if you really look at some buildings. I love the design of this baby rocker. What great skill turning some small sticks into a useful and nice looking rocker. Really impressive if you ask me. The biggest building in town by a huge margin is the saloon. Makes sense to me. If you want to have workers in their cash part company, this is the fastest way to do it. The building itself could be an old cowboy western movie. We did not even go in since it was turned into a tourist trap, offering food and trinkets at prices I knew I wouldn't consider paying. You might have guessed what the second biggest building in town was. A bordello, of course. After the miners hit the saloon, those with any money left and maybe too drunk to know better head across the street to lose the rest of their money. This building is pretty awesome though. It has great architecture and I really like the spiral staircase. It is amazing what it must have taken to build this structure and how much it must have cost compared to the other buildings in town. Well, this is my first significant effort at combining a bunch of photographs and seeing if I could do the voiceover and create a video from it. I've only done about maybe 20 slides at the most, and I have hundreds of them. So this would turn into a colossal sized video if I were to keep trying to put voice to each one of the pictures. So what I'm going to do instead is just let them go ahead and play, and if anybody wants to see them, they can. And if you want to turn the TV off or computer or whatever you're using, you can go ahead and do that too. But I'm going to stop the voiceover from now. Okay? Thank you. Bye.